Alright, this is a quick little video of the results of the flex fuel sensor install on my E500 W211 wagon. And so this is not an installation video, I'm not a mechanic, but it's really not too hard. It does take some time to kind of make it all look pretty, but kind of starting off, you got basically a computer that needs a ground. We got wires to each of the 8 injectors, and then we got the actual flex fuel sensor. So as you can kind of see, I ended up doing the computer right here. It's on top of the auxiliary battery, and it's just like double-sided tape to that. There's already a nice hole in the firewall from the factory. I just cut a hole in this little plate that you can pull out of there. And then, so I ended up running flex fuel sensor right here. The fuel on these, comes in right here. So fuel line from the back, like this one right here. And then I just tapped into that. And then fuel sensor, and then goes into the fuel rail right there. So not too bad in terms of the install. You're gonna have one wire that's gonna go from the ECU, or we'll call it the ECU, to sensor, and then you'll have 4 going across, 4, and then I just wire loomed each one of these to make it kind of look pretty. But with the engine cover on, you really can't see almost anything in terms of the wires and such. But I'm just trying to think of anything else that was notable. I don't know, this doesn't really matter, but you have right here, I don't know if you can even see it, that little red tip right there, that is just a temperature sensor to tell if the engine is cold or not. It has like a cold start function built into the tune. And yeah, pretty much you just you pull out each injector, you wire it in, and then the kit is, this is upside down, but Flex Pro, I think it's called E-Flex is the company. Everything in the kit worked kind of perfectly. The kit did come with all the adapters for me to not have to buy anything separately in terms of using the flex fuel sensor in this position. And everything's been running good. I put about 1,000 miles on the car since I've done the install. No leaks or anything, and I'm actually not getting any loss of gas mileage, which is kind of crazy. I'll probably explain in a second here how that's even possible. But yeah, I'm very happy with the kit, and I'll go over the app in a second as well, show you what that looks like. App is called the E-Flex app. Open that up, scan flex fuel device right there, comes up right away. The app is a little bit glitchy sometimes. Every once in a while, I gotta just close out of the app. It doesn't find the device. Sometimes. This time it worked just fine. Like 95% of the time it works. So you can see here, engine's already hot, 140 degrees. Ethanol is 27% right now. Shows you your injector activity at the bottom there. And give it some gas. It'll give you your duty cycle for the injectors. It's not going up much, idling and just revving it, but the most I see is maybe 45-50% duty cycle. I'm not sure if that's a lot or not compared to stock. A lot of people say your injectors are gonna blow up as soon as you put this, as soon as you put your normal car on E85. I guess we'll see, but I don't think 45 to 50% duty cycle is anything crazy, but we shall find out. The device itself has 3 driving modes. So we got economy, dynamic, and sport. I pretty much only ran it in economy, because I don't really care about performance. Right now, I'm sure if I went in the mountains or something, I would be more, I'd change that up a little bit, but driving around every day, I'm just looking for best gas mileage. And then let you fuel log, you gotta make an account. And then, yeah, the pro features I haven't really dug into a lot. So fuel map correction percentage, I'm not sure what most of that stuff is going to do. I know I didn't install there's one extra wire I think that you splice in kind of if you want to use the pro features, I guess. But not planning on using that at the moment. But yeah, it works good. No check engine light, obviously, and pretty happy with how it works. On ChatGPT, gonna be asking it a couple questions here, but the main thing I'm kind of doing this for is to help you understand some of the reasoning behind why I am targeting a 91 octane fuel with a mixture of E85 and 87. And what I don't hear a lot of people talk about is once you convert to flex fuel, obviously you can do a mixture. There's obviously no reason to give your car at least a NAV8 105 octane fuel. There's really no performance to be had, obviously, in an NA vehicle, in addition to this being mainly for fuel savings and saving money, right? So we're targeting 91 octane, right? We're going to mix 87 and E85, and my gas station is about 60% ethanol. And let's go through this then. So you guys also would probably want to let me know if any of this doesn't translate to real world results, and then obviously verify some of the math if you want to. Pause this. But effectively, this is going to take into account E85 being about 105 octane. And it's going to tell me about 22% should be E85 if I want to target 91 octane. And so we're going to go with, you're going to fill up your tank a quarter of the way with E85, and the rest is going to be 87, right? And then we're also going to ask what percentage ethanol would that fuel be, right? Because all I have is my Flex Fuel app that tells me a percentage. I don't really know octane, really. So this is going to tell me that the ethanol percentage is going to be about 21% right there, right? So basically when I fill up and I'm not maybe doing a full tank, right, I'm just going to target between 25 and 30, right, just to be on the safe side in terms of octane. So what else do we got here? So this is just more math. So if I were at 30% ethanol, right, what would the octane be? And they're going to say it's going to be about 94 octane. So that 25 mix is pretty good. But I know I can go as low as 21%, right, if I want to do that minimum 91 octane. All right, so next part, right, real world savings. What are we actually saving money-wise? And so we're going to ask it, I'm going to show you on the screen local gas prices for me. The gas station I always fill up at does have really cheap E85, and it's a lot cheaper than the gas stations around me, but this is where I fill up, and these are, my gas numbers, right? So we're going to take into account that 91 octane mix, and cost-wise, right, that is going to be about $2.70 for that 91 mix. So final answer there. And then, so how much am I saving every fill up? If 93 octane is $3.72, and we're going to come to about $20 in savings, right? So every time I fill up my tank, we're saving about $20. The flex fuel kit is about $700. That math comes to about 35 fill-ups, and the flex fuel sensor is paid off, so the break-even point for me is about a year, and then after the first year, I'm saving money from there. And then, obviously, you're saying, don't you lose efficiency from running E85? And the answer, in my case, is no. I actually don't lose any efficiency. I actually get the same or better gas mileage than I did prior to installing the flex fuel kit. And this is some of the reasoning behind that, right? So we're going to ask what would be the loss of efficiency with that 91 blend, right, compared to 93 octane. So it's going to do some math here, and they're going to say we lose about 7% efficiency at that 21.1% ethanol blend right there, right? And it gives you some real-world examples based off of just random numbers, but these are kind of applicable in my case, right around 20 mpg. The main reason I would say I get better gas mileage would be that economy tune that you are able to run with the new flex fuel sensor compared to the stock computer before, right? I haven't spent much time on the performance or the dynamic, I think it was called, modes, but all I'm saying is on the economy mode with a 91 blend at 21% ethanol, right, I literally don't lose any gas mileage. All right, so overall, I'm super happy with the install on this 05 Mercedes E500 in terms of the flex fuel sensor, right? So when I keep it at that 91 octane blend, I pretty much have no loss of efficiency, right? And then when you're only running 20 to 30% ethanol, right, you don't get a lot of those negative impacts of ethanol, which is like more frequent oil changes, spark plugs, fuel filters, and then, injectors at a higher duty cycle. You really don't have any of that when you're running that blend. I wouldn't personally recommend going full E85. You do actually save a little bit of money after you do all that math with pure E85, but the downsides just aren't worth it, in my opinion. So when you're mixing the fuel, that is absolutely the way to go. So overall, very happy with the install, and we'll do another long-term review in the future.